Well, I made it back from vacation, and looks like almost all the parts are final hole size. I'm just cleaning up all the edges. These edges are really rough, so we just went around the perimeter, cleaning up the edges, deburred the holes on this side, going to flip it over, deburr the holes on the other side. Well, there's not a lot to this vertical stabilizer, actually. You have a doubler that kind of rests in there here, and then these two guys come together. They're already pre-drilled holes. That one sits in there like that, and this one sits in there like that. Creates just a little gap in between there.
Oh, where?
Okay, so I went ahead and fit the main spine of the vertical stabilizer. I guess I kind of forgot, this is the rudder. The hinge actually already has pre-drilled holes in it from the factory, which match up already perfectly with the pre-drilled holes in this angle on this other piece. So there's really not much adjusting to do. Well, I was trying to decide what order to do everything in. What I ended up doing is just taking this, these two brackets sandwiched in between this hinge here. I took that off of the main spine for now, because there's no way to rivet with that on here. So this has got to be on here. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to rivet this, keep it kind of straight right there. Rivet that down on my rudder, and then take that pin off and take this assembly back over onto the spine. Well, I ended up riveting pretty much all four of the angles on, including the rib, at least that one rib. I probably could go ahead and rivet the top rib on too, but you can see I riveted everything on. The bottom part's left open there, and there's a part up here. You can probably see it better on this side. See if it bounces. Yeah, this part right there attaches to the fuselage, and this part down here attaches to the fuselage. And actually, I can show you where they're getting mounted. If I come underneath here, right there, it looks like. Bolt, rivet. And down here, same thing, bolt, rivet. Well, at this point, it was just a matter of putting that skeleton inside the skin. And I went ahead and clecoed the bottom of the skin, this part, but on the bottom first. And then just set the skeleton in there, and then just wrap the skin over. Captured this hole here pretty easily. Then just started capturing the ribs, or that rib on this one. And then captured the rib up top here. And now I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing to the other rib, and I think I'll just start riveting. And just like that, we got us a vertical stabilizer. That's exactly how it fits. I haven't trimmed anything yet. Sounds like there might be a few little areas to trim, give us some more elevator clearance. The back of this, we can see it. Here's the back of the vertical stabilizer. And get our bearings a little where we're at. There we are. And come down here. This will be an AN3 bolt, rivet. And down there, AN3, rivet. The elevator, here's the elevator, horizontal stabilizer, vertical stabilizer, or vertical, yeah, stabilizer. So this vertical stabilizer actually goes back beyond the hinge. So I put a mark on there. I'm gonna cut that off. This is for the up elevator here. You can tell it kind of hits right there. So doesn't allow the elevator a full travel. So this is pretty much the same on both sides, and it's pretty much a known thing. The plans mention you may have to do this. So we're gonna trim this back into here, something like that. And just like that, you can see it, my elevator now clears that area. And I'm able to get a full, I believe they want up 28 degrees up deflection from a neutral position, and then I think 18 down. Next thing I'm doing is put a line right here, because to support this skin, there's gonna be an L angle you fabricate on this side and on the other side. These are the brackets that will help support the sides of the vertical stabilizer. These are just straight L angles, and I put some relief cuts in them, and just to match the same curvature as the horizontal stabilizer is what I did here. And so I'll go ahead and make a pitch of 40 on here. I believe the final size is size 21. Well, while I'm back here, I didn't have quite my full down elevator. So I decided to go ahead and trim off my stop just a little bit right there, just so it'll stop at about 18 degrees. Something to take note are the L angles they give you. They give you 4 of them, 2 for inside of here, then 2 for this part up here I haven't got to yet. But anyway, they're the same size, same dimensions. I didn't pay that close attention to it. I just grabbed them and started going. Then I realized after the fact that one side's longer than the other. I know it's small details like that you need to pay attention to, but nevertheless, I discovered it after I'd already bent this one in place. And I took note of that, and I drilled these holes a little bit closer down since I don't have enough height on this side. The other side, no problem. I luckily by accident got it right. But I did notice this before I started drilling holes, and I compensated for it. Edge distance is not a factor. I was able to make edge distance on all these on the inside. Again, I just had to drill maybe a little bit closer to the edge on here. All right, working on the dorsal fin part here. Man, this part's been brutal. I've been on it probably about 5 hours already, and lots of trimming. I don't know if I'm even trimming in the right spots half the time. So I ended up taking off a little bit of this. I say a little bit. This was extending down in here a little bit, and I couldn't even put the part on to see where I needed to trim because this guy kept getting in the way on one side or the other side. I took maybe an inch or so off this guy, maybe 1.5 inches even. I've had to notch out around here a lot. I mean, it probably terminated right here to begin with, so I probably made even all of this. A lot of tension on this. You got to make sure that the part is kind of center to everything. I put a center line on the fuselage here and then up here, and along with the top fin too. There is going to be a gap in between the other side, slightly worse than that one even. But anyway, to get this thing fit was brutal. And anyway, I finally had to commit to drill some holes. It's hard to fit one side, then try to tape it down and do the other side, and without it shifting a little bit because it's the tension on it's so great. And anyway, I'm gonna drill the rest of these holes, go to the other side, drill the rest of those holes, and then probably work on making some L angles for inside of here. And that'll be next. All right, took the little dorsal fin cover off here, and here's my edge distance. I had a piece of blue tape on there to make sure I did have my edge distance. I mean, it looks great as far as that side, both sides go actually. So I drew a line around the perimeter of it because these little angles will actually get riveted. I'm gonna cut this one up since I got this guy in the way. You can see my cut line right there. So I'm gonna put one right there, maybe put a rivet or 2 in that one, and then I'm gonna have to bend this and just kind of follow that curvature up to about right here somewhere. This is part of the bracket L angles made for the dorsal fin cover. Just showing you that. Still need to drill into the sides of both the dorsal fin and the bracket here. In order for me to get access to this one, to drill this hole here, I had to remove everything off of here, at least the horizontal stabilizer. So there's one hole I could not get to. Even with my short angled drill, I could not get to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and final size these, rivet these guys in place, and then I'll probably put everything back together, then drill these side holes. All right, have the brackets riveted on, or the L angles riveted on for the dorsal fin area, what I'm calling the dorsal fin. And that's what they look like. I did have to make a hole over here just to clear that rivet over there. I wasn't gonna try to find the rivet and put a rivet in there, or anyway, use that for a rivet. I guess I could have, but anyway, I didn't. I just made a hole in it, skipped it. Fine, and yeah, that's what that looks like. The only thing else I had to do is the dorsal fin kind of comes over here, and it was covering up. It would be resting on top of this rivet here. So I went ahead and dimpled this hole here and the associated part right there. So yeah, I dimpled those. I'll just put a flush rivet into that. So then when the dorsal fin lays on top of it, it won't be resting on top of the actual rivet itself, or at least it won't be sitting proud at all anyway. The other thing I was thinking about doing, and other people had mentioned this as well, is the transition right here is pretty poor. Right here from the side of the fuselage, and then the skin kind of comes up a little bit, or actually quite a bit. So by the time I put a rivet in here, is gonna be a pretty good bend in this. So I'll probably put a thin spacer in here. There'll still be a bend, but it won't be quite as bad maybe. So I'm gonna look on seeing what kind of size of spacer would help make a better transition. Both sides are like that. Anyway, we'll work on that too. All right, I got the dorsal fin drilled as good as it's going to get. Not 100% perfect, but for this airplane, I think it's just fine. And just need to up drill some of these holes here, deburr everything, maybe put a little primer on it, and I think I'm gonna call it good enough. We'll take all the tail sections off and get ready for the engine next. All right, got my seats. Not too bad. I guess they're okay. Just had a local company do it. Maybe a little pricey, but anyway, that's them. They seem to fit okay. Just have this. There are two separate pieces. This piece, he said, doesn't come on and off real easily. It just slides over that bar in the back, and I guess you can kind of see it. Lean it forward. I did have to put a little pocket back there on both the seats, and that's it. Good. I just have them go on the inside of the tray there the best we can. It kind of overlaps it a little bit. Same thing with the other side. You see the kind of seat base back to that green. Kind of squeezes in there, and the bottom part's velcroed in. But anyway, there they are.